All right. So now we
And
have
we have Kathryn Wagner.
Kathryn
Kathryn
Wagner.
Wagner is another one of our new Roche Pharmaceuticals is not new. They are a very large pharmaceutical company. They've been around for a very long time, but they are new in the FSHD world. And so we're going to bring in Kathryn Wagner, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about what's going on with Roche Pharmaceuticals and their work in the FSHD space.
We're pivoting. Kathryn, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Love the background because it right away answers the question. Even though we talked about it briefly, where is Kathryn Wagner from, or what's she here for? Roche is the new pharmaceutical company kind of getting in the FSHD realm. Is that right?
That's right. So I'm relatively new to Roche. I spent most of my career in academia at Johns Hopkins and Kennedy Krieger, where I took care of a number of FSHD patients, ran clinical trials, and ran a lab studying muscle regeneration in animal models. And 2 years ago was a really hard decision, particularly to leave my patients. But I felt that I was very unlikely to be able to develop a new treatment for them in academia, while if I could go to Roche and excite them about FSHD, I'd have a real chance.
So did you have to pitch this to Roche?
I'm not sure it was exactly a pitch. I certainly needed to educate them about FSHD, about the community, about the disease, and what I said is you won't find a better patient population. The people who are just so engaged, committed, generous with their time, with themselves, and that this is turning out to be true in Roche's experience.
And so then how has that journey been going since you presented it to them? Obviously, they were intrigued to take it to this point. So where is Roche now?
So we have several initiatives to combat FSHD. One is that we are collaborating with the Resolve investigators, the natural history study, where we will be looking at a digital outcome measure for FSHD. And Roche has experience in validating this measure for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, where we recently got it approved as a primary outcome measure. Actually, the first digital outcome measure to be a primary outcome measure in Europe. And the advantages of this, if we can do the same in FSHD, is that it will provide real world data, how somebody is functioning at home. It's a wearable device. And also would necessitate many fewer patients in a trial. Another initiative of ours is a new trial. It's called Maneuver, and this trial is just initiating now. It is with a novel myostatin inhibitor. And I think many of your listeners will be familiar with myostatin, which is a negative regulator of muscle growth. And when you block myostatin, you get increased muscle growth. And we're particularly enthusiastic about this myostatin inhibitor. It has special features. It's called a sweeping recycling antibody. And we will be looking to see its effects in ambulatory FSHD1 and FSHD2 patients.
Wow, that is massively exciting to be in that space and to that degree. It seems like you got there relatively quickly.
Yeah, things are moving. Things are moving. And there's one other thing that I'd like to just throw in this, and this is this is further into the future or earlier stages where we are looking at what might be a disease-modifying treatment. So that would be development of a novel therapeutic to knock down DUX4, what is believed to be the causative protein in FSHD. So we have a number of irons in the fire.
Wow. And when is this, or what can you say, Elise, about it in the clinical trial, opening up, or any details that you are able to offer?
Sure. So yes, it has initiated. There will be several sites in the US and in Europe. As each of those sites become activated, they will be listed on clinicaltrials.gov. There, people can also find the inclusion and exclusion criteria. I think, probably even faster than looking at clinicaltrial.gov, although I do recommend that, would be to talk into your physician about whether he or she has heard of the trial, whether they're participated in the trial, whether they recommend it.
Mm-hmm. So this is coming up, and I know people are excited about other trials happening. This involvement is key. When it comes to then, as we walk into the next or the first quarter of 2023, what are some of those points, I guess, that you're trying to hit within this, the first quarter, second quarter, and throughout the year when it comes to this trial or other type of developments? What's kind of the goal path?
Well, we certainly hope by early 2023 this trial will be actively enrolling. We have heard a lot of interest in the trial from patients, from physicians. So that certainly is our goal, and to recruit quickly. And I think we will. The FSHD community is just so proactive and organized that I would be surprised if it doesn't recruit well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's we've had other guests on prior to recruiting for the MOVE study and the MOVE Plus.
Yes.
Other doctors and scientists, whatnot, talking about this study or that, and that we want to make sure that we have our ducks in a row. Things are covered so that when pharmaceuticals call for data or call for people, that we have enough and that we are ready to answer that call. And it sounds like you're very confident in that regard within this community.
I am. I think there are a number of good options, and which trial one participates in is based not only in your interest in the drug, but in whether it's convenient to you, whether there's a site that's convenient, whether you meet the inclusion criteria, etc. But unfortunately there are a lot of people with FSHD. And not there will be plenty of patients for these trials, I believe.
When we started the conversation, you mentioned making that shift, from being with patients, treating them, and then going to pharmaceutical side of things, thinking and hoping, and it seems like you've made the right choice, as in you can be more frontline, trying to get that treatment, using your skills and tools in that regard. How difficult was that adjustment, to kind of, and I can see in your face, right? I can almost see that you're kind of reliving, maybe even picturing some of those patients that you've worked with over the years. Because I always believe that, we all seem to get pretty close to our physicians, that are in the front lines with us. So, what's that transition been like?
Well, the pausing, I would rather say, rather than discontinuation of my seeing patients, has been difficult. There are, patients that I've cared for 15, some even for 20 years, people who I've become really close to. And to them, to their families, and I just care deeply about how they do, And there are many ways in which I think I could care for them. And so I'm caring for them in a different way now, but I do miss that personal interaction.
Well, that was a good segue, because that's kind of where I was leading with that. Is I just think that you're still caring for them. You're just caring for it with this way. And I think you're taking the work you've done, with them, if it's face to face or in this way. To me, I don't want to say and be insensitive, say it makes no difference. No, you still care. You're just directing it this way because I believe you're going to make a big impact on it going this direction. I say thank you to that. I'm sure that was a tough decision. I can only imagine. I find that I'm more of a emotional side of this disease than the science side. And you clearly are carrying both with you with it. So I think it's remarkable that you can make that shift and help our community like you're doing, and then approaching it on our behalf. That's what it felt like to me when you told that story that you went to Roche and said, however that looked, I wasn't there, but however that looked, to say, hey, we should really look at this. That is huge to our community, the fact that you represented us so well.
Of course. And, if I could just also say that I've been involved with the FSHD Society for a couple decades also.
Yes.
I learned a lot from Dan Perez, who I will forever be grateful for. He's just such a champion. And I served on the SAB for over Scientific Advisory Board for over 10 years. And, I know this is a really good organization. Little spoiler alert, I will be giving my team at Roche donations in their honor to the FSHD Society.
Nice. Awesome.
For their holiday presents.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. That's great. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. That's all right. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Thank you very much for doing that. Thank you very much.
Of course. Very happy to. Anything for the FSHD community.
Appreciate that. And if you want to learn more about the work you're doing at Roche and maybe just have people kind of stay on the front lines of information as it comes out, where can they find that?
So they can certainly contact Roche. Mm-hmm. They can also find information on clinicaltrials.gov. And, we do have notices out to the community when we are doing things such as this maneuver trial that go actually to the FSHD Society. So they can learn about our activities through the FSHD Society newsletter.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Kathryn, for joining us, being a part of this again. Just what a great warrior for the FSHD community you are. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks a lot for having me.
Absolutely. As Kathryn Wagner with Roche, some big news there coming from that area. Just another pharmaceutical company helping us out with our community. So many are getting invested more and more and getting more involved. So, wow.
That was exciting. I get verklempt. It's just, it's so exciting.
Yeah,
There's
I'm almost like,
happening.
As she's saying it, I'm like, is she saying this? Is she saying there's clinical trial? They're saying there's another group on the cusp, another company invested. I mean, I can just imagine her. I just envisioned her like, okay, getting ready for work at Roche. And she's going to walk into probably some type of boardroom or conference room to present this FSHD. I'm like, that's carrying us on her shoulders.
Absolutely. And Roche is a heavy hitter. I mean, a lot of the biopharmaceutical companies that are in our space are the small but mighty,
Yeah.
Epic Bio, they're David up against some Goliaths. They just are working so hard. And they all do. They all work incredibly hard.
Absolutely.
Value and appreciate everybody's effort in the space. But there's something very exciting about having, one of the big dogs run with us too, right? So to me, that speaks to the incredible promise that there is. When you've got large and small, US and abroad, people from all over the globe that are coming together and, working towards this. More people jump in the pool when there's promise.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of promise because everyone's jumping in the pool. And what I'm hearing over and over again today is this theme of everyone saying how wonderful and amazing the FSHD community is. And I could not agree more. I just think you guys are rock stars. And that's part of it, right? It's part of why people want to get involved and why someone like Kathryn is willing to upend her whole life,
right,
and change her trajectory. And because she said, I want to get a cure for these people.
Right. She said, I could do, that's how she led the conversation was, I felt like I could do more by going this way. As difficult as the decision would be, I could see in her face, she was probably going through many faces of people she met over that career. Being a physician in that aspect. And I could see in her face, she was picturing them and she was like, yep, I can see them all.
Yes, she can see them. And that is what everyone brings to the table, right? It's the friendships, it's the relationships, it's the families.
Right.
And we all want to see an end to this disease. There's in one of the clips we were running to promote today, Stephen Blyer from Whittier. He was talking about, I want to wash the dishes and I want to take dance class. I just get verklempt every time, right? Because I thought I want him to wash the dishes. I want him to take dance class.
I'll take dance class with him.
Yeah, I would pay for those dance classes.
I am terrible at dancing. And them, and so I totally get it.
Everybody that's in the community is so committed to this community and so committed to all, and it's going to take all of us, everybody. And I love the enthusiasm. I love it when the pharmaceutical companies that are headed into clinical trials say, we know these patients. We care about this patient community. We think we're going to fill the trial. I believe that they're right, but not without some increased effort. Right now, we do not have enough patients on the roster, like on the rolls, to meet the need. We don't, because the inclusion criteria is pretty narrow. It needs to be. You need a homogeneous group of people that are in a similar stage of disease progression to prove the efficacy and the impact and the safety.
Right.
Not that that's only who it's going to be given to once it's approved, but that helps you get it across the finish line, right? And so that of all the thousands of patients that we have in our database, we know it's not enough. And while yes, you can go to clinicaltrials.gov and there's other ways you can try to stay informed. I mean, I don't know about you, but I have a hard time keeping up with all the news.
Right.
Things that I care about. And what we try to be at the FSHD Society is provide that service to say, we're going to help you cut through the clutter and provide the information. And we send emails on about a lot of the things that we do, but there's 2 every month that you can count on. The first of the month is our e-newsletter with all the important news and links to what's happening. The middle of the month is our education e-newsletter. It's a little shorter and more targeted and focused. And either one of those will tell you about all the different research studies you can take part in, not just clinical trials, but the different research studies, which is, answering surveys and providing questionnaires and being involved in MOVE. It's like we want to be a clearinghouse for all that information. And so that's the goal, is to help you guys weed your way through all of it and find what's meaningful to you. So you don't have to get 52 Google alerts. You can get one email, and click on the things that matter to you most. So
it just cuts through everything else, gets you right to it. Social media helps too. FSHD Society posts some great things, gets you right to it. Just cut through the red.
But if all these clinical trials that are in play and on the horizon, if they all come online within the same window, I don't think we will have enough people that meet the criteria to fit them in a short enough time span. And to me, one of the more heartbreaking things that I could ever imagine is to have that therapy going into trial, the thing that's going to stop it, the thing that's going to reverse it, the thing that's going to cure it. And we don't get it to patients because it can't get to approval because the trial didn't get done because the people weren't in it. And that is not a made up story. That is a cautionary tale because it's happened over and over again.
Yeah.
There are many clinical trials that fail because not enough patients get enrolled.
Right.
I mean, look at the MOVE study. It's non-therapeutic. You get to
Yeah.
see top-notch doctors.
And you have to see someone anyway.
And you got to see somebody
You go
anyway. Why
every
not
year.
go to some top-notch leaders in the field? And we still are struggling to fill that study.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of just clicking emails and sending correspondence to those that are running those. They connect with you, and it's just that simple. It's just start the ball rolling.
And each one bring one, right?
Right.
If each person that was in our database went out and networked with other folks they know that are sitting on the sidelines and brought them along, we'd be there. We'd have 10,000 people in the rolls. We'd have 10,000 people who said, yes, I'm a patient. I'm putting my hand up. I will be a part of whatever research study or therapeutic study or clinical trial is out there, because I not only want treatments and a cure for me, but I want treatments and a cure for everybody else that's impacted and for the next generation. That's the ripple effect that every single person can have. And, there's no greater time than now to step up and just be a part.
Yeah.
So give your time, your talent, your treasure, and be a part of the solution, right? So
Agreed.